Hey, how are you? It's good to have you here. It's been a while. I've been off air for a few days. It feels like it's been ages. Did you know that? Or maybe, let me not start it that way. Let me put it this way. Can soft drinks contribute to a weight problem? I was going to say, did you know that soft drinks are the biggest contributor of progress? But did you know that? Did you know that soft drinks are the biggest contributor, or among the biggest contributors of weight gain? And should I say uncontrollable or unmanageable weight? It's funny that I talk to my clients and even people in general, and somebody will tell you, no, I don't really eat that much, but I can't deal with my weight, Yeah. And then what I normally say is, the first thing I do with my clients is I say to them, this week, just put down on a journal or whatever, but just journal whatever goes into your mouth. Anything, whatever goes into your mouth, just put it down. Put it down. Whether it's water, whether it just, as long as it goes into your mouth, you put it in your mouth, put it down, and put down the quantities if you can. If you don't have the quantities, just estimate. If not, it's fine. If you don't know at all, you can't estimate, it's fine. Just put it down. And that does two things. It makes people aware of what they eat, and it also and that oftentimes alters their normal eating habit, because now they are conscious of what they're putting in their mouth. They realize how bad it is or something like that, and then they refrain from it. When under normal circumstances, they would have put it in and ate it, But it's amazing what you get. Then people start realizing, I thought I didn't eat much. And maybe I don't eat much, but what is it that I'm eating? How does it affect my body? That's the next thing we get to. Now, getting back to soft drinks, okay. Soft drinks are the largest source of sugar intake in Western medicine. Now, sorry, not Western medicine. In a Western diet, Now, you may say that's Western, but remember, our diet today is Western. We have gotten rid of our traditional diet, and the world over has gone the Western diet. And unfortunately, it's not the best diet. Our traditional diet is much, much better than the Western diet. Of course, it has its issues, but it's much, much better. So yes, I'll keep referring to Western diet, and you've heard me referring to Western diet because it originates from the West, and the whole world, the world over, has taken it. Now, soft drinks are the biggest contributor, or the biggest sources of sugar intake in our diet today. All right. I mean, it adds roughly 9 teaspoons of sugar to an adolescent's, a girl child's diet. And it's estimated that for boys, it's about 14 teaspoons of sugar, And that's a lot. 13 teaspoons, 9 teaspoons rather, for adolescent girls, 14 teaspoons for adolescent boys. That's a lot of sugar in a day. And some of us take even more than one can of soda. You know, these days when you buy in fast food stores, there's even an upsize. There's, there are king cans and the like, eh? And that is more sugar. Since the early 80s, sugar intake has been rising in an alarming rate. People are consuming more and more and more sugar. And this comes from the sodas. It also comes from one of the largest contributors of sugar intake is refined foods. We eat so much refined foods these days. And these are among the biggest contributors of sugar consumption, and not just sugar, salt as well, salt consumption. And these two things are contributors to heart diseases and other lifestyle issues. All right, diabetes and the like. Eh? The average can of soda, average is a 340. I don't even know the can sizes these days. I hardly take even juice, but I think it's 340 milliliters. This can of juice or can of soda. The average amount of sugar in there is 10 teaspoons of sugar. That's what you're taking. 10 teaspoons of sugar on average. Obviously, depends what it is. Unrefined foods, take the common one. I every time I go grocery shopping, you see people. I can't help but look at people's trolleys. I've noticed that more and more people are taking brown bread, but you still have a lot of people taking white bread. And just one slice of white bread has an average amount of sugar equivalent to 3 teaspoons of sugar. Just that one slice. Just one slice. You see, what happens is when food is refined, okay, the taste is taken out. That process of refining food takes away the good taste of food. All right. And what happens is that for that food to be palatable to you, for you to eat it and enjoy it, there's a lot of sugar that is added, as well as a lot of salt to add taste to that food. Any food, whenever there is food processing, these two are there: sugar and salt, to make sure that you find that food edible and tasteful. And that's how refined foods contribute to our high sugar intake and high salt intake. And these things we should be taking very little of. Well, that is for salt. But as for sugar, you don't need sugar at all. You can just get rid of it. You don't need it. Absolutely not. You don't need sugar. Okay? The only sugar that you need is natural from fruits and vegetables. That's all you need. This artificial stuff, get rid of it. Get rid of it. In actual fact, that is the best food for cancer cells. Best food. I remember this one time, a friend of mine's father at the time was diagnosed with cancer. All right. And I remember us visiting, and this is not the only case. I remember one lady called me. She had cancer and she wanted me to help her with her diet, just to help her deal with the chemo and the like. Chemo kills all good and bad cells, and that's a topic for another day. Chemo. But on both the occasions, okay, I visited these people at hospital. I was shocked. These days I don't get surprised anymore by these things, but I was shocked to find that the dietitian actually included um, dessert. Yes, included dessert in their diet. And you know, dessert in and of itself is not bad. What's bad is what makes that dessert, what constituted that dessert. You know, there was jelly, there was custard, there was cream, there was cake in there. Of course, I didn't ask how they prepared them, but you know, it was it was obvious. All right, and that is a whole lot of sugar, a whole lot of animal products, milk and the like, which are not good for a cancer patient. You know, it's just so amazing how we have gone so far away and we miss just the simple lifestyle health aspects that can help us, that go a long way in assisting our body to better deal and repair itself, better deal with ailments and foreign substances and diseases, and heal itself. Instead, we bring other stuff that will, yes, may help us, but also bring adverse side effects that then cause more problems or other problems, instead of just assisting our bodies to better deal with whatever is wrong and repair itself. Well, that's it for today. Remember, you don't need sugar in your diet. All right, keep away from processed foods. Keep away from sodas. Anything that is processed, you know, the best that you can do, remember, for processed foods is foods that are minimally processed, or what we call semi-processed, and you need to be aware of what processing has taken place. All right, like we talked about dehusked grain, that can be termed processing, but it's the type of processing. You just remove the husk and you take the grain whole with just the husk removed. Things like tofu, you know, very good for you, very good for your health. Has everything that you need that comes from that bean. So it's things like that. Sem, you know, or crushed grain, you know, that is processing, but it's semi-processing. It's just crushed, but the grain is still wholesome. It's still there. All right. Additives. What are you adding to your food? You know, be careful of that, and how much of it you're adding. Temperance is also important. Salt, like I said, is good, but too much of it, no. Anything in excess, no. Now, processing, almost, how do I say this? Food processing, all right. 100% food processing, full-on food processing will always add sugar and salt. Keep away from processed food. Remember, eat food as grown and be healthy by choice, not by chance. Ciao, ciao. We'll see you again soon.